Today, we are going to be talking again about sound verbal behavior, but we're going to be focusing on what makes sound verbal behavior impossible. As we talked about in the previous video, sound verbal behavior is explained by the sound of this gong. So if I strike this gong, yeah, you hear a wonderful sound, it sounds good. Well, when we have sound verbal behavior, we sound good. Everybody sounds good. We sound good and we feel good. It's not a gimmick. It is something that really happens when we have good communication, when we are friends, when we're not threatening each other, when we respect each other, when we are reciprocating each other, when we take turns. So that is sound verbal behavior. Well, what is it that prevents sound verbal behavior? Don't you think it is important to understand that? Well, if we want to understand what causes noxious verbal behavior, then we got to understand what these three pins are, which I place on this gong and which change the sound of this gong. Listen to that. That is not sound verbal behavior. This is noxious verbal behavior. And no matter how hard we hit it, it sounds horrible. Yeah? The voice that we have when we have noxious verbal behavior, it pushes, it pulls, it stabs and it grabs. But such a voice sounds aversive. It is an aversive stimulus. And we need to understand what these three pins are so that we can take them off the gong and that we can have sound verbal behavior. Okay? So what are these three pins? Fixation on the verbal, outward orientation, struggle for attention. Why are we fixating on the verbal? Have you ever heard the saying, it is not what you say, it is how you say it? Well, if how you say it sounds like this, do you think people are more likely to listen to you? Of course they will, because you sound better. Yeah? How you say it determines whether what you say is paid attention to. But if you fixate on the verbal, then you start to become too much focused on the content, on what you're saying, and you're making all kind of verbal acrobatics, but you are actually disconnecting from the non-verbal. So verbal fixation means non-verbal disconnect. Yeah? And so careful with that. In sound verbal behavior, by the way, yeah, there is alignment between verbal and non-verbal. There's congruence, okay? So fixating on the verbal is one reason. Second reason is outward orientation. I'm trying to impress other people with what I'm saying, right? So this verbal fixation also ties in with this outward orientation, where I'm trying to impress you with what I'm saying. So I'm putting all my energy into making you listen to me. But what do I forget? To listen to myself. Yeah, I start sounding horrible when I fixate on the verbal and when I'm outward oriented, because I'm not listening to myself. I want you to listen to me. How are you going to listen to me if I do not even listen to myself? In sound verbal behavior, I listen to myself, and because I listen to myself, you listen to me. And this is not a gimmick, it really works that way. Okay? Now what is this third pin? The third pin is that we struggle. We struggle. Yes, we struggle. We struggle because we struggle to get the attention. I want to say something too. So you stop talking and listen to me. Okay? So there is a problem that we have with turn taking. Yeah? Turn taking where one person becomes the speaker and the other is the listener, and when the other person can also be the listener and becoming the speaker, etc., etc. Yeah? So in sound verbal behavior, there is no struggle because the listener is simultaneously the speaker. Does it make sense? Fixation on the verbal, outward orientation, and struggle. Listen to how it sounds, folks. Would you rather listen to this? Yeah? Would you rather listen to somebody who's talking with a voice that sounds like this? Or would you rather listen to someone who has a voice like this? I would rather listen to someone who sounds like this. And I think that our communication, our talking together, our interaction, our relationship will improve if we can accomplish this together. Yeah, we need sound verbal behavior. We need to get these pins off the gong. We need to let go of our fixation on the verbal, our outward orientation, and our struggle for attention. Once we do that, we sound good. We feel good. We can have this conversation, and it can just keep going and going if we keep an eye on how we sound, if we keep listening to ourselves while we speak.